What is up, everyone? It's your girl JJBEATS with none other than...
I'm Jared Allen Clark, the voice of Tanner Hawkins, covering for Matt Beckius, the voice for Silver Sterling. He may not be an honorary Hawkins brother like Michelangelo, but we help each other out around here.
Oh my goodness. Honorary might be half. Who knows?
Honorary Hawk. They didn't interact with Silver much at all in the game.
Bro, I think except for the route where apparently Michelangelo might just steal Silver Aria from Silver.
Oh man.
Aria just last second is like, you know what, forget the Silver, I'm gonna go with Michelangelo. I was like, what is this? Even I was baffled by that. I was like, who did this?
Not a side character anymore, fool.
I know. I was like, what is this? That cracked me up. I was just like, why is Michelangelo even here? Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. He is slick and suave.
Oh my goodness. Let's start with the first question. Silver is either loved or hated by the fans. Why do you think that is?
I think, to use the terms you used earlier, the idea of a rich character can give people the ick, where they could come across as one-dimensional, bratty, always gets their way, spoiled brat, absolutely. But Silver, in particular, kind of subverts the spoiled brat a little bit, where he is spoiled. He is not afraid to show you that he is spoiled, but he's not a brat. He's not a sore loser, and he isn't immature in those typical ways. I can totally see the divide. I'm one of those that likes the character because I can relate to him in ways that I can't other rich, spoiled kid characters. I think he's very well done, personally.
Honestly, I was going for like the super rich trope and then trying to deconstruct it toward like he had to be a super rich snob, and then we were trying to break him down later once you actually give him a chance.
Exactly. He's a
yeah.
character that has to open up to you some before you begin to see the redeeming qualities within.
Yeah, so but like even when you like look at him at first, he's not really that much of an a-hole. He only acts like that because you act like that towards him. And even then, he does something like, even if it might seem snobbish, it's still being helpful to you. Like, he's like, the world is my oyster, I shall do what I want. And he throws out all his money for people to take. Like, I don't know, he's giving money away, like... I don't know how that's a bad thing. Yeah, I was just like, maybe that's bad, but like he's giving money away, so
you can do good things with bad intentions. That is a thing, but it's kind of like he's doing it for selfless reasons, but masking it behind what is a selfish facade.
Someone said that Silver becomes an absolute himbo when it came to Layla. Why do you think that?
I think that's because, like we talked about before, Layla, you get what you get with Layla. She's not putting on a front. And Layla doesn't go after his assets or the fact that he's rich. And I think it's because Layla doesn't go straight for the, oh, you're rich, are ya? That kind of throws Silver off guard, where, well, A, he doesn't really have a predetermined route to navigate that kind of interaction, but B, that is rather, it sparks intrigue in this person when they don't go straight for it. I think there is genuine interest in Layla because she's not the typical, this guy can buy me handbags and take me to the spa kind of person.
You think we should have done Layla's choice at this point, because everyone's always like, Layla.
But it kind of is. It's the B plot to the game. Layla's choice is going on outside the player's control, it's kind of already happening.
Exactly, but it's like Layla is like the male favorite. Like the guys are the one who are upset with Layla. Not even like the guys in game. Like the guys playing the game are like, I like Layla. Like,
That is something why I love this game, is that there is a separate love story going on outside the players. I love that.
so it's just so funny because the girls hate that, but the guys love that. They're like, I love Layla. It's just so funny. It's just like, bro, Layla's choice won.
You made too charming of a character and casted it too well. That's on you. You did too good of a job. Tone it down.
My bad. Should have just gave her a different voice or something.
You went too hard, too quick.
Do you think Serenity and Silver are endgame or ending in divorce?
I think they do very well for one another because it's kind of like that frenemy thing.
Yeah.
Because I do see a lot of relationships like that in my own life where they're butting heads, they have opposing personalities, but they focus on the right values in life, and that's what keeps them together despite the differences in the butting of heads. I think it's a relationship that could work so long as they keep their egos in check.
I heard that they are like the Korean drama where they end up in divorce or they stay together, but like they have too much pride or they like low-key hate each other but will not get divorced because none of them want to admit defeat.
Yeah, I could totally see that. No one wants to concede that they were the ones that bowed out first, so they stick around.
Yeah, it's either that or if they get divorced, that there would be a love triangle going on where someone else would get in the mix and they're like, no, I want you back.
The competition is who can put up with the other person the longer.
Yeah, it's just so funny because it's like if they get divorced, they'll be like, no, I want you back because you're mine. You're mine. It's like, I can't have someone else be with you.
Initiating the divorce is considered defeat, but they also don't want anyone else to have the other person that they dislike.
It's so funny. I'm just like, why do you think the enemies to lovers trope dynamic works so well? AKA Silver and Serenity.
Yeah. If I recall, in Silver's route, didn't Silver make fun of Serenity before her weight loss?
No.
Okay, I was trying to remember that detail because they had met prior to that, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's Damien.
That's Damien. You're right, that was Damien. I'm sorry, my memory's a little spotty on that. But yeah, they're at each other's throats for a good bit, and just over time, through those interactions, they've come to realize that they actually can have feelings for each other, but yet still mask it behind taking jabs at one another. It's that thing where girl picks on guys. So, yeah, girl picks on boy on the playground, and the parents just say it's her way of showing that she likes you. She picks on you because she likes you. It's like that, but grown up.
Loki, yeah, it is. Serenity picking on Silver, not the other way around. Like she's the one starting it. It's not even him.
On you because she likes you.
She is literally the tsundere.
Yeah, she is total tsundere. She fits that trope well.
It's so funny because it is a reverse. I didn't even realize that she's the one starting it. Like,
yeah.
But like, I think overall in general, why you think it works so well? Like, the fact that like people want the enemies to lovers to work out.
It's just an interesting dynamic that, even though it's not unique to this game, it's something that's rarely pulled off well. I think in this case, it is pulled off well. You want to see it because you want to see it done correctly.
So you just saw his base or his original concept come through. This one.
Yes.
Which one do you prefer? The over-exaggerated one that we decided to go with, the Slim Jim that I like to call.
Jim.
I call it the Slim Jim, because this is, I guess, the 2.0.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they like the Slim Jim more, like looks more shoujo. I like the Slim Jim or the muscle one more, but a lot of people say they like the Slim Jim more. But which one was your favorite?
So the original concept art that you have there, this guy here, it looks like someone that I could not relate to as readily. This guy looks like he sees me as beneath him. He's above it. He looks down on everyone else. At least that's my initial reaction with this person. He could be written to make me like him more as he opens up, but I am at first put off by this man's appearance and demeanor and how he looks down at me.
That's literally that's literally what Dem said.
That's what he said?
Yeah. That's what Dem said. And then it's so funny because I'm like, you know who this could be? This could be his big brother. And I was like, this is what his personality is gonna be like. Before you guys even said this, I was like, he's gonna look down on him. And so I have a character that his older brother that looks down on him, and you know what his name's gonna be? Ken. And Ken means gold, which means first place, and silver second place. And his last name's gonna be Carrot, so it's 14 karat gold.
King Carrot? I can see it.
But what were you saying?
Totally
yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, it's just based off that one picture, I get that impression. Slim Jim Silver, this one here, yeah. This guy, I feel like he's still the rich kid, but that I can at least have an initial interest in him as he opens up more. And his physique makes more sense to me than Buff Silver because he's so business oriented and he's doing leisurely activities when he's not putting in desk work or, you know, money management work. It makes sense to me. He's laid back. He's kind of putting on a defense mechanism front of being laid back and so carefree. Not careless, but carefree. And the physique just makes sense. Buff Silver is like how I would see how he would commission artwork of himself. Or do a self-portrait if he could draw. This is like fantasy Silver, where if he inserted himself in the JoJo universe.
That's the whole point, that this was like a JoJo universe.
This is like JoJo Silver.
But I also wanted like a more buffer character, like because everyone else was kind of Slim Jimmy, like and like even like the buff boys, the ones who go to the gym, Tanner and Ty. They're not that buff, but I was like, we need a buff boy, and everyone just kept going for the shoujo vibe. I was like, dang, this is why we don't get different type of physiques.
I like this. I think this is great art. The Hawkins guys are toned, and this guy is just slim and not unfit. But this Buff Silver, it's a little bit over the top for how I would view the character's lifestyle. I don't think his lifestyle would foster that kind of physique.
It's just like
great artwork. Fantastic artwork, though.
Buff Silver.
Buff Silver.
It's just like
Silver Bar.
That's just so funny, man. Bro. no buff rich guy for us.
Buff rich guy. That's a little too fantasy speeding.
Okay, I think this is the part you love talking about the most. What do you think the relationship between Arya and Silver accomplished?
The relationship between Arya and Silver accomplished?
Yeah.
I think the interactions between Silver and Arya get Silver to open himself up in a way that no other character can pull from him. And being able to see that peels back the layers of his personality to see that this rich kid air he puts on is a facade, it's a defense mechanism. Because he does have insecurities, traumas, and wounds that he has to work his way through in life. And I think Arya's relationship with Silver accomplishes him coming out of that shell and seeing the real Silver.
I think it's also because we'll talk about it later, but it's because of the karaoke scene. It's like it's just like it's like
that's paramount to that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you won't get that any other type of route. So it's like it's literally when it goes to that scene, it's like it finally the heart starts to melt, and you're like, oh, that's what we've been looking for.
Your first real glimpse of the real Silver.
Also, it was funny when because this has been coming through like crazy. There's other hairstyles for one. Is there other hairstyles you kind of vibed with?
So the short hair one. Let's see, yeah, that one. I can totally see that as a very clean-cut businessman. That one there, I can see that as more of a younger person appearance that he would definitely see himself doing. He's not going to do his hair himself, I would imagine, because a hairstyle like that it requires a lot of upkeep. You've got to play with your hair for about 15 minutes before you can get it to even look remotely like that. But he could do it either himself having a lot of time or have someone do it for him, like Chives. But
Chives!
Chives!
We're gonna talk about Chives later.
Not aware, but that one right there too. It strikes me as maybe an older Silver, a more mature Silver. All three of them work, but the one that he has in the Slim Jim portrait, as you call it,
Slim Jim.
It accentuates his face and personality so well that I wouldn't have it any other way.
This is what I was gonna talk about. I don't know why, but I really love seeing this photo because it's like it's so patronizing. It's just like she's dancing with him, and it's like she's like all smiling while she's like, "I want to beat you up so badly." And he's like, "Go ahead and try."
Like, I like you, but I don't want to like you.
Like, look at his face. He's just like, "Oh, you look nice for once," and she's like, "Go, like, go." Like,
are we going to throw hands out back, or are we going to the bedroom later? I can't tell.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's just like, "Oh, leave you." Like,
it's great art, though.
I know.
So great.
I wish I had more of this. Like, oh my gosh, I wish there was so much more art for this game, man.
Yeah.
Like, one day.
One day.
More voice acting too. Well, one day.
One day.
One day. So okay, now we're gonna get to the karaoke scene, because you mentioned it in the other thing, but like you said it related to you the most. You want to talk about it again here?
I could talk about it, yeah, because it's a song in the karaoke scene. They play a song that was it was his mother, right? I want to make sure I got that point clear. Yeah, because it was very important to him and his mom, and after losing his mom to cancer, that song elicits an emotional response from him where he tears up and really begins to open up to Arya. And I do feel like sharing in that sorrow with him and that memory lends so much to loving and identifying with the character of Silver, especially for me, because I lost my mom to cancer very recently, which is what got me to start auditioning for voice work. That if I hear one of those three songs that we played when we laid my mom to rest, I have to stop and really just feel the moment for a little bit. And this is such a common phenomena that it's relatable to a wide number of people, me including, and it makes me really like the character of Silver all the more. And it kind of makes me a little sad that I didn't do better in my audition for Silver, because, man, I could have laid into that so well in the moment. Because I was hot off the press with some emotion during that early development stage. But, yeah, I love that scene so much because it made me stop playing the game for a second and reflect on my own experiences, and it's made me think, dang, I really like this game. It made me feel something. If your art can make someone feel something, it has done its job. And I would call game development, game design, an art form because it achieves that. It gets you invested, makes you feel something, and that moment there is what made this game art for me, or one of the parts that made this game art for me, because it elicited an emotion from me, and a strong one at that. I love that.
So what I hear is oh, by the way, sorry for your loss. But play Ari's choice on Insta. That kind of sounds rude though. It's like
It's quite for your loss anyway.
Play
Oh
Ari's choice on
no!
Insta.
Anyway,
I do have low EQ, mind you, but like it was we spoke about this, so like we actually had a conversation about this. But it was just like my thought process is just like I was just like, huh? But I was just like, wait a second, let me backtrack for a second. But no, I think it's because I was this game is supposed to be comedic but also with a sense of realism, which is why Arya's love options are not so typical or grounded with the cliches as you feel, which is why Layla has those options, because she is literally supernatural and not grounded in reality. While Arya
I was thinking about that, yeah, because the supernatural aspect of Layla's story is so unrealistic, but it's so much fun in the way that it's presented that it's not unwelcome or feel out of place. It's just so wonderful. It's wonderfully silly. I love it so much.
Yeah, so it's just so funny because then everyone's like, I want to be Layla. That's
Yeah.
They're like, can we just have the story about Layla at this point?
Like, I love the supernatural aspect to Layla. It's so much fun.
So it's just kind of funny. Looking back, it's just like, do we have changed the character?
No, it's so good. It's so good.
I don't know, but it's just something in writing. But I liked how a lot of people actually ended up resonating with Silver at this point, because we were struggling. Like the last two characters routes we had to write for were Silver and Michelangelo. We were really trying to get those last two done. Like we were staying up like without sleep for like the weekends, like trying to be like, we gotta do it, it's for the team, make sure all their work and effort pays off. And we're like, and I am not a writer, mind you. I'm just like, what do we do? I was just like, just add some trauma.
Just add some drama.
I was just like, everyone in his family died. And he's like, that's too much. He's like, that's too much trauma. He's like, I was like, okay, his mom.
His entire clan was slaughtered by his brother.
Low key. So he's just like, wait until the sequel. I was like, okay. So, but regardless, people were so invested in his story because they accidentally go in his story when they tap on his shoulder or something like that, or don't tap on his shoulder too often, and they end up loving Silver. But speaking of which, why do you think a toxic character can be so lovable? Because he could be seen as toxic, but people still love him anyways.
So, for a toxic character to be lovable, it really has to be delivered in such a specific way. And I think Matt Beckius' work for Silver was so well done to serve for that goal. I think your elements are, if he's going to be mean at any point, don't let him be mean to any character that the player likes or is close to, or the player themselves. It's like Handsome Jack from Borderlands. Damian Clark's performance as Handsome Jack is so good for the character that you can kind of forgive the wacky and heinous stuff that he's done, because A, he didn't do them to any character really close to the player unless you were close to some of the Borderlands 1 cast, and he didn't do anything directly malicious to the player unless you count leaving them for dead in the middle of a frozen tundra to be, you know, super personal to the player or anything. But what Silver has here, he has the components to be lovable, while being toxic because he's really not that toxic in a malicious intent. He has toxic traits, but none of them are maliciously done. He's spoiled, he flaunts his wealth, but he doesn't spit at your feet as he's doing it.
You peasant.
You peasant. He doesn't put you
Brunky.
down. At no point does Silver really put you down or treat you as you're a lower class than him. He just flaunts his wealth. That's kind of it.
You know what's funny though? In the rejection route where I think Damien, are you reject each other, right?
Yeah.
I was playing through the game, which is kind of funny because after the stress is over, the game is actually pretty darn funny. And this is not me gassing myself up. I actually did enjoy the game when I'm like, I can't believe this actually went through. It was every other couple aside from Arya and Damien and Tanner got married, and I don't know how it happened so quickly, or they're getting married or something like that. They're like honeymoon phase, and Silver is like, time to pop the champagne. Oh, sorry for you guys, but Serenity, get the champagne bottles out. Like, read the room, Silver. But that's kind of like me, how I was just like, oh, sorry for your loss, but download.
Oh yeah, sorry for your loss. Anyway.
So it's just like kind of like how I was just like, oh yeah, it's kind of like he has low IQ. I think it's kind of just one of those things where I just kind of like related to him. It's just like I didn't know how to read the room.
If he's not emotionally invested in what's going on, he doesn't really pay attention to it. He becomes oblivious to it.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny how that worked. So it's just like, he's just that character. I don't know. It's just something about him that makes him so charming, whether he's like mean or not.
I couldn't really get a read on if he doesn't like the news he receives, he tunes it out like a defense mechanism, where it's like, la la la, I can't hear you, but it's more just ignoring the bad news that just came in. Or if he's just that good of a loser. He's a good loser where he doesn't get down by it or throw a tantrum, and he can be happy when someone else has a victory.
I think it's that one, or he still keeps trying, because I think it's more so like when it came to, it was basically when it came to development, is, you know, never take no for an answer. It's not like I'm not gonna take no from an individual. If an individual says no, I'm gonna first try to come to a resolution first. Like, okay, is this possible? Is this possible? Like, what works with you? If they say nothing works with me, I understand. And then, you know, but I will find an alternative or someone else, or see what I can come to. Like, okay, I understand. Like, you know, we gotta do something about it though. It's like, we're not gonna just let this go undeveloped though. We're gonna keep trying to finish it regardless. And so I think that's his mindset. So it's like, even if it fell apart, he's gonna get it moving one way or another. He doesn't have a defeatist mindset.
Yeah, he doesn't throw a tantrum when he gets no for an answer, but he'll take the necessary steps to make sure he can convert that no to a yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what it is. It's just like, it's just like, okay, I guess we'll keep it moving. Like, onward to the next thing.
Let me do what I can to convince you otherwise.
Exactly. The Chive's origin story. What do you think the Chive's origin story is?
You could go the Alfred Pennyworth route. You could play any other trope. I'm going to do... I'm going to make something up on the spot. Where he was a poor man, down on his luck, probably got laid off from his job when either Silver... or King Carrot, or say their father came across him and liked the cut of his jib, so to speak, and offered him a job as maybe a butler, or perhaps a caretaker or babysitter for Silver.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, he just kind of became, he's not blood, but he's part of the family. And Chives is just an integral part of the household from that point forward. A very trusted servant.
Speaking of which, do you want to see what King Carrot looks like?
Let's take a look.
Wait, this is actually really big. I need to minimize it. But it's funny because you also voiced. Didn't you also voice the Chives? Yeah, you voiced Chives.
I put in for Chives. I put in a few takes for Chives. They didn't get used to the final game. Someone else got that.
Oh, okay. I thought you voiced Chives too. Oh wait, what?
That'd be
No.
wild if I did.
Because I was like, you voiced a lot of people, and you ended up being multiple characters. Honestly.
Yeah, I got surprised hearing that I made some extras and some other people. I don't know who got them because they're not credited individually.
Oh no.
That is a big picture.
It really is. That was super small.
Oh! Let me get a closer look at that boy. Bring him to me.
Here you go.
That's my brother.
That's your bro.
That is... I'm trying to get a really good look at this. I can't zoom in my screen any more than it is. I like that. Is he meant to be older or younger?
Older. He's number one. He's first place. Older.
He's first place. I see. Cooper the Copper Boy. Let's see.
That would be third place.
Yeah, Cooper the
Bronze.
Copper. He's the youngest.
Yeah.
Cooper the Copper. This Keen here, this Keen fella, he looks pretty cool. I'd like to know more about his personality and how he interact with others. But based on my...
You guys described it already. He's pretentious.
Pretentious? Okay, yeah. I kind of got that pretentious air about him, yeah.
And then, oh, I guess we could talk about 5 years from now, Silver. Because guess what? Oh, spoilers.
Oh, would you look at that?
Silver.
Wow, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah. Ooh. Behind the scenes.
I guess in 5 years, I like to say that he's more professional in the business mindset. He's really grown Sterling Enterprises more over the last 5 years, getting more financially savvy, making good business choices, getting the proper advisors to help him make business decisions.
What do you think?
I think... What's that?
I said, what do you think happened to Chives?
Oh, yeah, I want to believe that Chives is just the loyal servant who's not related by blood, but is still family. Kind of like Alfred, where he's operating as a butler or a servant, but is something far more than that. I want to say Chives is still right there till the very end, just being the best guy he can be.
So yeah, what do you think of Silver's design?
This Silver or the in-game Silver?
This Silver.
That Silver there. He looks younger at a glance to me, but is definitely far more reclusive and... what's the word? The word for being shut off to other people? Not recessive.
Do you think it's because he's more mature 5 years from now?
I don't know. He strikes me as he's very cold upon reception, and that could be a symptom of his more business-like approach, since he's been more steeped in the business over the last 5 years coming through college. When you go business full-time, it definitely changes your mindset and how you make decisions in your personal life. I think that comes through here.
Yeah, so definitely gonna probably be a difference, like, you know, because, you know, I know some people want their characters to stay the same, but like, I feel like in 5 years a lot of person could change, especially between college and adulthood. So like, I don't know how much of it. Yeah, so I feel like, but there's also has to be a change, because I feel like when it comes to visual novels, you also have to keep a connection. So it's like, you can't have them too much of a different person. so it's just like, it has to still have so much of a semblance where he's still like kind of like a toxic guy, but still genuine at heart. So
Yeah. You just gotta peel back the layers of the onion.
Yeah, like ogres. Ogres have layers.
Ogres have layers. Onions have layers? You get it. We both have layers.
Okay, so money talks. Where do you think Silver learned it?
Money talks.
Considering that his dad didn't take care of him much, how do you think he still got that mindset?
He was born into a rich family, was he not?
Yeah.
I think you can still see. You can learn a lot by just seeing rather than being directly taught. I think he could have easily learned that through interactions in his family. I think because I'm assuming in a lot of ways the relationships within his family aren't that strong, at least not familial bonds. He probably witnesses a lot of people get bought out by just having enough money. Even though someone says you can't buy me, there's always the right price. It can be really high, but there's always a price where someone will compromise their values. And I think in the high exchange interactions he probably sees through his family's business or even just his family's personal lives, he's seen that where he knows that money can get you what you want if you have enough of it.
What do you think we should have shown between Silver and Dame?
That is an excellent question because we don't get really any direct interaction between Silver and Damien in the game.
And yeah, you were aware that we were supposed to have a completely different plot than what we showed.
I actually didn't know that the plot changed.
Yeah, we were supposed to have the whole Damien was a CIA that worked under Silver.
Oh, I didn't read that. But between Silver and Damien, I could see an interaction where Damien would challenge Silver in his snooty attitude, or how Damien perceives Silver's condescending nature, even though that's not really the true Silver, but Damien would see it that way because he hasn't been let into the know. I could see Damien either trying to slyly work his way around Silver to not provoke Silver, but I could also see him directly confronting Silver in his conduct to try to make Silver change as a person. It could be a friendly interaction where Damien tries to get something better out of Silver, or it could be something adversarial where he is directly confronting him and says, I don't like the cut of your jib, I don't like the way you present yourself, something needs to change about you because you are not going to make friends this way. That kind of confrontation.
So in the initial thing, essentially Damien was supposed to be like Silver's bodyguard / secret service. So there was supposed to be some type of plot going on there, which leads to the other question. But it was supposed to be like setting off the whole premise for Ari's choice. I don't know if that keeps you kind of invested in where that goes.
I would be interested in learning more. All the development stuff, I'd love to see it because just seeing how this project evolved over the last year has just been so rewarding.
Okay, so it was gonna be linked to Arya because Damien and Silver plot was gonna be like, you have to learn more about this character, which was Arya Hart, because people were trying to find out more about her. So like he had to be around her for certain purposes. So which is why he approached her in the beginning, was to like get close so that like if people try to approach her, which is why the gun guy approached randomly. Like aside from wanting to kill him, but like it was because like he wanted to find her too. So like because he just randomly just starts jabbing her. So people had it out for like Arya was gonna be seen as like someone important, but we never established that. So yeah. It's like,
I could see the angle where they would be at odds with each other, and they both wanted Arya for different reasons. But then
yeah.
you'd be running into the young adult novel where, do I want guy number 1 or guy number 2? They're so different in every way, and they look exactly the same, just a color palette swap.
Honestly, those two are literally kind of like, because they're kind of like the Love and Deeds face boys, honestly.
I can see that.
Yeah, the Zane and Silas, like they're too similar, like the elegance versus like rich snob kind of vibe. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I rewrote it, if I would keep that plot line in. Is that even something that would be worth adding in on?
I think that the way that the game stands now, I don't think it needs it. I think it's great just the way that it sits.
I think if I were to change it, I would just add more psychology to it. And maybe I would make Arya more manipulative, honestly. Like, have her, because I feel like the blank slate doesn't add to her character. Like, because I feel like people don't relate to her as she is now. So, like, I feel like there needs to be a hook to Arya. So
I was wondering about that angle, because if you start making her manipulative and having her own agency, then she stops being a stand-in for the player and she becomes her own character with her own personality, which I think is something that you totally could have done for this game, but I can see that from the onset the design was you wanted it to be a player surrogate.
oh, I didn't want that.
Well, I mean, you as in collectively as the development team.
Yeah, it was just easier to write as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be psychotic, so sociopath. I wanted her to be like, essentially
Yandere without the homicide.
Yeah, essentially, I wanted her to be making these boys like love her without her loving them. That's how I was going for it. It was like she knew what to say, but she didn't mean any of it. That's how I was going in. She's just like let's say like Damien was having his like emotional moment. Like she's like, I know how you feel. But she's like, I don't care. Like in her head, she's like, I don't know. But she's just
I could see that angle.
Yeah.
But that would be a very, very different story than what we've got.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't change much at all about the story that we have now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like, but like, it's like one of those things where you're just like, she's so cunning. So, I don't know. I don't know how we would rate that. So I was just like, I don't know how I would change any of that. But I don't know if adding the secret agent stuff to Damien now. I think we could still have the angle where he works under Silver, but I don't think we would have where Arya was a part of it. I would just think like just having him working for Silver, doing certain bodyguard tasks or something like that.
Just a visual novel with no choice where Damien is just the main focus and you're watching it play out.
Yeah, it's just like literally I think I told Whispered, I was just like, hey, so I'm working on the sequel, right? What if Damien just approached Layla's cousin, who's Esper, telekinesis, right? And he's just like, I'm gonna have you under arrest. And she and she's just like, huh? Because he's just like tired and he doesn't really know what to say. He's just like, I'm just done with the day. I don't know how to go on. And he's just like, breathe. Like, he just kind of he just doesn't. It's like the middle of the night. He's just like, I don't really know how to do this anymore. It's kind of like, it's just like a very awkward situation. It just plays comically, and it's just like, huh? Is this goofiness going on? So yeah,
I could see that.
yeah. It's goofiness Damien's occurring because we didn't add goofiness to his character, unfortunately. Boys' night out was taken out.
I'm so sad. Can that be a non-canonical event that we get to watch? I want to see that fully created.
I want to probably add it in the boys' story. But Arya's
it
choice.
doesn't have to be canon. I just would love to see it.
we just have to add it to the somewhere. I just don't know. we just can't add it to Ari's choice. That's what I was.
Right.
So, yeah.
Brotherly bond special feature.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes special feature.
Exactly.
Deleted scenes.
Deleted moments.
Yeah.
Wind it down. In the what is a head canon for Silver that's not canon?
Okay. To pick one, I would think that since Silver didn't really have much of a father figure growing up, that Chives would be that father figure for him, whether he recognizes it or not. We don't see a lot of Chives, though.
We don't, but do you think, even though he orders him around, do you think Chives is really happy with that relationship?
I think Chives gets what he needs to feel fulfilled in the role, where even if he's being ordered around, he knows that there's something more than just employer-employee relationship here. And I think Silver, to a certain level within him, recognizes that too, where it's kind of, again, not by blood, but still family. But we still treat the relationship like it's employer-employee because we're paying you, but you're family. It's kind of like between siblings where you're siblings, you love each other, but sometimes you just act really nasty towards one another because that's just the way your relationship is. But you do it lovingly.
How professional do you think Chives is?
How professional?
Do you think he'd be just as snappy with Silver? Like, you think he's like the type to be like calling Silver out, or you think just like, yes, sir, right away, sir?
I think at first he would acquiesce, but if he sees Silver acting really out of line or out of character for him, if it's out of character, he would inquire as to why. If he sees Silver acting very shameful or disappointing, he would call Silver out on it, but not in a direct way. It's just, are you sure about that, sir? And really trying to get Silver to question it himself and get Silver to think rather than doing a direct confrontation. Until it came to that point where a direct confrontation is the only way to get through Silver's thick head.
How old do you think Chives is?
If I had to picture 40s, maybe mid 40s to no more than mid 50s.
I was gonna have him like super young, low key.
Oh, really?
I was gonna probably have him like in his 30s or something, like somewhere where Silver was like a kid and Chives was like in his teens or something. But he was like
Chives no younger than mid 30s.
Yeah, like he was they found him homeless, like he was a runaway kid, something like that, right? No. And they found Chives, and Chives isn't even his real name. but
yeah,
but they just go by Chives because Silver just heard that name and thought it was funny.
We found this dog and we will name him Chives.
Exactly.
He'll be known as Chives and next to Chives.
It's just like, can we adopt him type of mentality.
Can we keep him, Daddy? I'll call him Chives. He can be my butler.
And so like, it's kind of like that type of mentality. And so like, the dad was just like, we'll give you room, board, you just take care of my son type of mentality. And dude was just like,
you have to take care of him.
Like, just think about that.
Huge responsibility having a pet butler.
It's the other way around. Like, you know, just like the goofiness of it. And
I don't know, son. Having a butler is a huge responsibility. Are you sure you're ready for that?
It's so cheesy, but it's like it would make sense for him. And so Chives would do it because he's like, I don't want to go back with his unknown story, but he would just be super talented because of his unknown origin. Because it was something like with his years of training in the CIA, etc., that he was able to swim to shore, is what we said when he fell out of the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like right before he became homeless, he had that dream. So he would be like in the middle of his 30s or something. Like he had just like a year or something in military that he was just like in the street, and they just adopted this man. So yeah. So yeah, he would, but he would just be like that. He would just be like a really handsome man. And that Silver doesn't think everyone's yearning for chives, and he's just like, but chives, grab me my drink. And he's like,
I'm
right
a
away,
loyal
sir.
servant. I
like-
love you, Chives.
He's like, right away, sir. And Chives just dedicated to Silver.
That way, sir.
So it's just like, what about Chives' stories? Like, you don't get one.
You don't really need a full story for him. You can extrapolate everything from the 2 interactions you get.
Yeah, it's just like, no story about Chives. It's like, we want
You
more
know
of Chives.
all you need to know.
You don't need a story about Chives. But it'd be kind of funny if everyone's like, I want to see more of Chives.
Just make one up. He's in your own head canon now.
Do you think a marriage between him and Arya or him and Layla could work?
I think both could work. I think, especially with the karaoke scene between Arya and Silver, you can see that there is the foundation to have a healthy relationship there that could lead to marriage in time. But you could also see that with Layla, as in, you can have the angle where he likes Layla because she's not after his money, and he finds that very endearing and is a little caught off guard by that interaction. So either way, I think you can start a relationship that is believable with both girls, and eventually that can lead to marriage in time.
Which one do you think would be the better alternative if it wasn't Serenity?
Okay, the better choice that's not Serenity. That is an interesting thing about Silver, is that all 3 could work, huh?
Exactly. Which makes it hard for me to decide. I was like, who should Layla end up with me? I'm just like,
I could
dang.
see Serenity. I could see Arya. I could see Layla. Huh.
It's not even who should Arya end up with. It's like, who should I let Layla end up with?
Yeah. Who should Silver get? What is Silver's? Let's choose for him. Serenity, number 1. Absolutely. Between Arya and Layla, though. I'm going to go with Layla, and I could see Arya being his psychiatrist or psychologist. Yeah, psychiatrist in that dynamic. I could see Silver getting a lot of psychological help through his trauma through Arya, much that I could see with Damien too if their relationship wasn't romantic. That is a very interesting question. I think a platonic relationship with Arya is very much possible, and a romantic relationship with Layla is also very much possible. I could also see the alternate reality where Silver marries Layla, seeks professional help, meets Arya, and kind of gets a little infidelity with Arya. Kind of like when you get it on with your secretary behind your wife's back. But it's entirely possible for either of them. I would say romantic for Layla, platonic for Arya.
I find it so funny how Arya is usually the last option. This was a game about her, and she's always the last pick.
not for me. For Damien, Arya is my first pick.
But I'm just saying, like she literally does only have like the 2 leads for her. Like everyone else,
Damien and Ethan are 2 number 1 picks when it comes to Arya, and I think that's just kind of how it should be.
It really is though, but like everyone else is just like Layla or Serenity.
I think that's an accomplishment in the writing that the 2 main leads would be the number 1 choice for the main character, whereas Silver, Michelangelo, Ty, and Tanner are constantly shipped with either Serenity or Layla. I think that's an accomplishment that you could make it where that's the common consensus across the board.
You think so?
I do.
I just think it's so funny though, because you would think Arya should be shipped with all of them, but like everyone's just like, you know, Arya, You know, maybe just Ethan and Damien. You know what? Damien could be shit with Layla. You know what? Damien.
You can make an argument for anybody with anybody, but you can
Yeah.
make stronger arguments for certain ships. And I think
Yeah.
that's good that you can reach an agreement.
Yeah. This is so funny. Ethan, honestly, I'm gonna love hearing Ethan's take on who he should end up with. Because I literally don't really know Ethan's route like that.
Oh man, I want to hear Cooper's input. I
Me
really
too.
do.
I really do too. I'm like, yo, yours is the one I know least about because yours is so long. It's the hardest one to get
I can't
through.
wait to watch that.
So, but yeah, like Layla is shipped with literally everybody. Serenity is shipped with basically everybody. And Arya is only shipped with the 2 guys. It's just so funny. So I was just like, and even then, they're like, maybe not even Damon, just maybe Ethan. I was just like, y'all tell me, contemplating. That's so funny. Okay, what do you think his relationship between his older brother is like? King Carrot.
Competitive.
King Carrot.
I would say this is not a loving brother relationship like the Hawkins boys.
Yeah.
This is more of a competitive relationship where it is not professional. It is respectable. They respect one another, but they are competitive towards one another. They're not going to undermine each other beyond business decisions, of course. They're not going to sabotage one another directly, but they are going to try to outsly, outmaneuver, and use cunning tactics to outclass the other brother. But it is, to them, just good business.
I see. Yeah, that's literally how I planned on writing them, is that they would work together, but they would always be trying to one-up each other. It's just like they are always
even in
trying
a cooperative, collaborative project, it's still co-opetitive.
Literally, like they are working on a project together, but they are still always gonna be like, but it was my idea.
I want to be first on the billet. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, it's my name first. It's like, oh, it's like their names side by side. It's like, nope, it can't even be up or down. It's just like, whose name is first? It's just like, they have to decide whose name is gonna be first.
Left to right, top to bottom. I better be the first thing that the eyes fall upon.
Exactly. They just have to. They can't even use the last name because they have different last names.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What is his strength and weakness, Silver?
I thought about this for a while, and I want to say that my answer is the same for both. It's the defense mechanism of putting your money up front. I thought of this as a weakness because you're giving the person who wants your money exactly what they want immediately without any sort of resistance. But then I also thought this can be a strength because let's say you let someone into your circle who just wants your money, and over time they end up getting, say, $5,000 from you. If you're with your money up front and they only get $500 from you, but you've outed them for what they are, you have potentially come ahead by losing less than you would have had you trusted them immediately. So my first thought was that his weakness was he gives you exactly what you want immediately, but then his strength is he gives you exactly what you want immediately and comes out better for it. So I would say his strength is he does have a defense mechanism that seems to work in its intended purpose of finding out who just wants his money as opposed to who wants silver for silver. His weakness is, if I'm not going to give the same answer for weakness, is going to be that he probably burns a lot of bridges preemptively because he makes preconceived notions about what the other person wants when it could have been something more genuine had it been given the time to grow, flourish, and be nurtured.
Why do you think that is, though?
What exactly?
Like, why do you think he automatically thinks it's money?
I think he sees, like we talked about when, why does he think that money talks? Is that he sees this in the environment in which he grew up, that people can be bought and sold with a price, that he perceives everyone else's perception as money is everything, and people are coming for money first because he sees that in his family, where people in his life are taken advantage of because they have lots of money. I've seen that a lot in my personal relationships, both family and friends, that because they have money, people are gravitating towards them until the money runs out, then everyone just leaves, like fair weather friends. So I could definitely see the angle that he just has a preconceived notion. They want my money. If I give them the money immediately and they take it without a second thought, I know who just wants my money.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of why I written his character like that. Because, like, a lot of people always say, it's like, the minute you lose your money, you lose your friends.
Yeah,
So,
that is
yeah.
actually a thing.
Yeah.
And I think he takes that to heart.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to see that. It's not something that we were able to show off, because it's not like we were able to show these characters in a bad light, but it'd be kind of crazy to see if we had those type of characters, like side characters who wouldn't see. Yeah, so
Less important characters or unnamed characters, yeah.
Yeah, who would just be like, oh, well, he doesn't have money or give us money anymore, therefore we won't see him. So it would be kind of interesting to show off if that was the case. So, yeah. What is more you want to see from Silver?
More I want to see from Silver would be interactions like that, of people actually trying to take advantage of him for his money, so that we can see that his preconceived notion of that being the case is not unwarranted. We have firsthand proof that that is a thing that happens.
And your final thoughts on the character?
I love this character because he subverts the spoiled brat trope archetype stock character. He is spoiled. He's not afraid to tell you that he's spoiled. He is aware that he's spoiled, but he's not a spoiled brat. And I think that's a very important distinction to make.
Why don't you think he's a spoiled brat, though?
He doesn't throw a tantrum when he doesn't get his way. He puts forth that business mindset of, let's turn this around. How do we convert this no into a yes? I've met a lot of people that were never told no in their lives, and when they're told no, they pitch a fit. So I'm glad that this character doesn't do that. So he has a lot more emotional maturity in that sense. Maybe not be emotionally aware, because he does make decisions based on things that I think he himself does not recognize, but he doesn't fit in that box of spoiled brat who won't take no for an answer with a bad attitude.
I see. Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. I think it's just because when we wrote this in a more non-high school angle, where we weren't thinking of, like, you know, in high school you usually think of how it's usually like people don't talk things out, and in this game it was basically talking things out, so you were able to really flesh some stuff out.
Because you have it was a strategy for getting a job. I think I read this. Or it was a testimonial from somebody where when they were turned down for a job, they didn't just get mad over the loss. They asked the person who interviewed them, "Why did you turn me down?" And they tried to work on the weaknesses that were presented through them through feedback. And I feel like Silver would take that approach of, if he did not get a job or if he failed at something, he would learn why it went wrong and take the necessary steps to bolster that. And in that sense, Silver strikes me as the kind of person who is not a sore loser. He can be happy when someone else wins. Because to be a good loser, you have to let other people win when they win. You have to let them enjoy the victory. I feel like Silver could do that.
Yeah, I think he can too. I think that's part of his charm is that he's not a sore loser because part of
Exactly.
business is taking a loss. Like there's profit and gain. So, and he knows that. So, that's just something that he learned part of when doing investments.
Yeah.
There's always
He's
gonna be
not
gain.
afraid of failure.
Exactly. So.
He does not see failure as a bad thing. He sees failure as a learning opportunity, like Dark Souls. Dying is a feature. Dying is a mechanic. It is not a punishment.
Exactly.
It is a mechanic.
Yeah. Anywho, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much for having me. This was fun.
It was quite. And this is the end, not the beginning.
But Matt Beckius, thank you very much for a wonderful performance. Thank you everyone on the cast for an amazing, memorable performance. It's been wonderful working with you guys.
Yes, hopefully we can return or continue in some shape or way, maybe in a different way or expanding on this. But for now, I just gotta do so much editing.
Good luck.
I appreciate it. Anywho, with that being said, this is JJB signing out. Bye bye.